This is a story posted by local news about a police officer who died last night in Golden, Colorado, at approximately 4:30 p.m. Suspected DUI driver who struck and killed Golden officer is identified. 3 other people, including a second Golden officer, were seriously hurt in the crash on Highway 58. Posted on local news. Golden, Colorado. A 43-year-old man is in custody and facing multiple charges, including vehicular homicide, DUI, in connection with a crash Wednesday evening that killed 1 Golden police officer and left 3 others injured, including another officer with serious injuries. Stephen Gear is due in court for his first appearance Thursday morning. According to an arrest affidavit, 2 officers were investigating a crash between a pink Toyota Tacoma and a silver Subaru on Highway 58 that happened around 4:30 p.m. The document says there was light snow and slick roads at the time, and that a single patrol car with its emergency lights flashing was blocking the left lane, the fast lane, as they investigated the initial crash. Both vehicles involved in the first crash were in front of the patrol car. 2 officers and 2 people associated with the Tacoma were standing in front of the Subaru. Oncoming traffic was moving to the right, but the driver of the black Mazda failed to do so. I don't really know why it says oncoming traffic. It seems like it would be if they're in the left lane, they're moving right. That's all traffic that's going the same direction. But the driver of the black Mazda failed to do so and struck the pink Tacoma, which then hit the Subaru. The affidavit says the Subaru was pushed forward into the 2 officers and the 2 others. 1 officer, only identified as a 33-year-old man, was pinned under the Subaru and died at the scene. Golden Police Chief Joe Harvey described him as an amazing human being who flew Black Hawk helicopters in the military and served as a commander. He is survived by his wife, sister, and parents. So it's just always interesting when military who protect our freedoms transition to a career which pretends to protect our freedoms in the guise of safety, and you actually end up being less free. So he kind of flipped the script on what he was doing with his life there. Internally, he's going to be survived by 71 members of his Golden family who love and care for him deeply, Harvey said. Blue Line Gang. The other officer, a woman, suffered a facial fracture. The woman who was driving the Toyota had a skull fracture, and her father, who had arrived at the scene to assist her, was thrown over the Jersey barrier into the westbound lanes, the affidavit says. So it is divided, so that is wrong earlier when it said oncoming traffic. He had cuts to his head and elbow. Investigators contacted Gear at the scene while he was leaned against a guardrail. He told them he worked at the School of Mines and was on his way home, the affidavit says. He told them he was headed eastbound on Highway 58 and saw yellow flashing lights and tried to stop but couldn't and rear-ended a vehicle, the affidavit says. The roads were terrible during that weather. He said he then heard screaming but had a difficult time remembering further details. Gear claimed he had 1 16-ounce beer at a brewery, but investigators say they noticed a strong odor of alcohol coming from his breath, the affidavit says. Just reading a little bit too quick here, sorry. A CSP trooper just reported that Gear was unsteady and had a slight sway as he walked, so much so that the trooper had to catch him by his arm. They said, according to the affidavit, that Gear initially agreed to perform roadside sobriety tests, but ultimately did not complete them. A warrant was later issued for a blood draw, which was completed at the hospital. The intersection of Highway 58 and Washington Avenue was closed following the crash, according to CSP. The highway was reopened at 12:53 a.m. Thursday. And that's it. So, bad conditions, bad weather, but alcohol is going to get 100% of the blame. They're going to use that to increase patrolling and punishment for people, low-level DUI offenders. And these cops were in the wrong place at the wrong time. It seems like they probably should have parked their patrol vehicle back a little bit further, creating more of a buffer between the accident they were investigating in the fast lane, the left lane, the passing lane, or put some cones out or something.